Since all the hype has died down from Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens, I thought it'd be necessary to talk about what I want to see from the next chapter in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, Star Wars Episode 8. If you don't know already, I did a plot pitch about Star Wars Episode 8 on Mr. DVB's channel a few months ago. If you haven't seen that yet, then the link will be in the description for you to watch it. I still stand with many of the points I explained in that video, but in this video I wanted to explain what the style, tone, feel, and improvements it can make from The Force Awakens rather than talking about what the story should be about. And now that the hype has died down from Force Awakens, I thought it'd be important to talk about Episode 8 now. First off, I think Star Wars The Force Awakens was a good movie. It brought back the excitement of the original trilogy with fresh new characters and reminded us what was so great about Star Wars. But it does have many flaws and it didn't succeed to capture the greatness of the original three movies. Why is that? Well, first off, The Force Awakens was a complete copy of A New Hope. I was disappointed when Force Awakens played the safe route rather than being an original movie like The Empire Strikes Back. I give it a slight pass since we are being introduced to a new Star Wars trilogy after the incredibly disappointing prequels, but the reason Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie is because it didn't play it safe. It took a risk that paid off. It was completely different from the first film. It took the story, characters, and effects to a whole different level. It had its own plot and the movie was refreshingly dark. It was one of the few movies where the villains are the winners in the end. One thing that needs to happen in Episode 8 is the fact that it needs to be its own movie. You might be able to get away with a copy the first time, but if they did it again with Episode 8, I would be incredibly disappointed. The new Star Wars needs to take itself in a new direction. One thing The Force Awakens did do well, though, was the feeling. The Force Awakens at least feels like Star Wars, which may be the most important thing. One thing I hate about the prequels is that they give this bland spin on Star Wars rather than the exciting characters, stories, and adventures that the originals had. I think the main goal for Episode 8 is that the film needs to feel like Star Wars while staying original and fresh. Again, this is what The Empire Strikes Back did so well. The Empire Strikes Back, it's a completely original film while feeling like a Star Wars movie. It has the same exciting characters, banter, and adventure that the first film had, while making it even more emotional and having it be its own film. This is what Episode 8 needs to be. It needs to stray away from the stories of the other Star Wars movies while having the great Star Wars feel of the original trilogy. Another flaw I find in The Force Awakens is the soundtrack. Trust me, I think John Williams is a god. He is easily my favorite composer of all time, hands down, and nobody will ever come close to him. I think he provides the best musical scores. I absolutely love the original trilogy soundtracks. Hell, I even love the soundtracks of The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. Attack of the Clones is alright and has a few good scores, but it's my least favorite soundtrack in the series. The Force Awakens had a pretty disappointing soundtrack overall. It had a few good scores that stuck out to me, like Rey's theme, March of the Resistance, and the ending theme, but overall, compared to the scores of the originals, especially Empire, the soundtrack has many bland and uninteresting scores. I think in Episode 8, John Williams should come up with more scores that stand out and give you chills, rather than boring standard action music. Another issue I have with The Force Awakens is the characters' actions. Trust me, I think the characters themselves are great. However, things like Rey being so powerful annoys me. In the original trilogy, it took Luke 3 movies for him to develop as a character and have him train as a Jedi Master. In Force Awakens, it takes Rey to develop into a powerful Jedi in just the one movie. This is a problem looking forward into Episode 8. How do you develop Rey as a more powerful Jedi any more than she is at the end of Episode 7? Hell, why is she even training with Luke if she already knows mind tricks and without training and is an incredibly powerful Jedi? I guess a possible solution to this is having Kylo Ren be stronger. Of course, Kylo gets his ass beat at the end of Episode 7 by an instantly powerful Jedi. In Episode 8, I would love to see Supreme Leader Snoke having Kylo Ren going through painful training with perhaps the Knights of Ren to make him a more powerful threat to Rey. Maybe Rey overestimates herself with Luke and starts getting off balance while Kylo is getting more powerful by each day that goes on. Then when they have a possible rematch in the end, Rey completely overestimates herself and underestimates the changes that have gone through Kylo Ren, making Kylo Ren defeat Rey in the end. This would give some more room for Rey to develop as a character for Episode 9. I also think Episode 8 should be dark. This wouldn't be copying Empire because, as I said, tones can be the same, as long as the stories are completely on their own. Being the second movie of a trilogy, it would probably be the best decision to take a dark route. The Force Awakens is a more light movie, which is why Episode 8 should be darker. Also, having a dark movie can help the characters and stories to develop, and it can inflict emotion. I also hope Luke will be a likable character just like he was in the original movies. I hope his training with Rey differs from Yoda's training with him. I think Episode 8 shouldn't be as action-packed as Episode 7. I think Episode 8 should have less action and focus more on developing the characters and stories. I also think Episode 8 can have better and more creative planets than Episode 7, because honestly Episode 7 has some pretty lame and rip-off planets, but yeah. in the end, I hope episode 8 can bring something new to the table. I think it could bring forward some creativity in the Star Wars series, having an original story while keeping the good old Star Wars feel. So yes, this is my basically just what I want to see from Star Wars Episode 8. I mean, this is just all I want to see. So yes, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and yep, Episode 8, I for a title, maybe Rise of the First Order would be good. I mean, I think that'd be a good title. Hopefully that's what they actually call it, but yes. This is my video, thanks for watching, and see you next time.